Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking on how to actually maintain your clients, because I think this is a really important aspect to talk about in the agency space. A lot of people don't really talk about it and actually go into detail. Why should you listen to both of us? We've both been running agencies for coming up to 8 years now. I've built a six-figure agency. Will's been in the game long enough now. As young as he looks, he's 33 years old. He's actually got more experience than me, and that little baby face. Do you want to intro yourself?
Yeah.
Give yourself a little intro.
Yeah, as I say, I've run my agency in a nutshell, for coming up to 8 years. I think we started literally like a month apart before, obviously more recently, moving into Booster Agency and partnering up. So yeah, I've been in the space a long time, worked in an agency before that, did a lot of like print advertising, got to work on some really cool brands doing that as well. So yeah, and marketing before that at uni, so...
Yeah, so two very different avenues. You've got me, who dropped out of school at 17 years old to start my agency. You've got Will, went down the traditional route. So hopefully from today's video, you're going to gain lots of great insight. You know, I don't like these YouTube videos online nowadays with all this editing. We just literally 2 minutes ago, before the video, we literally said what we're going to touch on, what's the topic. And I think maintaining clients is a big one, because especially in the agency space, a lot of these guys are going to the business model thinking it's a get-rich-quick scheme. They think they can just outsource the business model and they can be living in Bali on a beach. Look, it doesn't work like that. We've been in the game long enough to understand that actually delivering an A1 service is probably the most important part of running an agency. I think you probably agree with that.
100%, yeah. Yeah, and the reality is you're not going to get the result every month after month as well. So it's often about communicating with the client, being proactive, coming back to them with ideas. Like, as I say, like, you know, if you have a really good Black Friday in the November, you're going to have a drop off in December. So it's not necessarily like bad performance on your behalf, but it's also obviously navigating that and forecasting and preparing for a thing like that as well. One of the biggest things that you'll find that a lot of agencies fail at is basically the client comes to them, you know, let's say they have had a drop off and they come to the agency who they're relying on and they say, you know, okay, well, what is the plan of attack? And the agency just kind of like shrugs their shoulders. So in situations like that, if I ever do see a drop off, I tend to bring it up first. I'll get on the call with the client. I'll say, look, really glad we got on a call. I want to go through these ideas. This is how I think we're going to kind of revamp your account, because at the end of the day, that is what they're paying you for, to be their kind of marketing experts. So communication is really important. Equally, even if you're doing a good job, I think often it's very easy to kind of put the brakes on in terms of things like communication when you feel everything's going well. But like, if things are going well, you want to shout about it. You want to keep the clients in the loop, so they're constantly, yeah, they know what's going on. Basically, they want to have complete oversight. You don't want to feel like they're paying you and they're not sure what's going on. Like, you know, yeah, like I say, you want to be screaming about those sort of results as well.
Yeah, and leading off communication, you know, communication is great, but you won't be able to communicate with the client if you don't understand service delivery. So a lot of, you know, these guys that jump into the business model, they think, okay, great, going to find a media buyer, going to outsource to this contractor that has experience. Look, to find a contractor nowadays that is willing to do all the service delivery for you and even do client communication, it's very rare. Most of these guys are going to be running their own agencies. So it's going to be very rare for you to find someone who can actually do the client communication. And that's a problem where a lot of guys, they go and outsource it, you know, fine, they've got a contractor, you know, again, they then jump on the monthly calls with their clients and they've got no idea what's going on. This is not how you run an agency, and this is not how you'll be able to maintain clients. Will and I, we've been in the game long enough. We've got some clients who've been with us. I've got clients that have been with me 6+ years. Yeah. And the reason I've been able to maintain them is because, obviously, like Will said, it's the communication, one, but the second part is also service delivery. Week in, week out, I'm staying on top of what's actually happening within Meta, what's happening within Google, because, you know, we're in a space where it's evolving quickly. Week in, week out, there's changes happening. And if you're not staying on top of it, you're just going to see a huge drop-off of your clients. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you want to stay proactive as well, and it's you know, Meta and stuff changes all the time. Like, this is the trouble that you have with a lot of agencies who are pushing courses and things at the moment. Yes, they have built a successful agency, and then they stopped running that agency a couple of years ago. And the trouble is now what they're teaching is going to be completely outdated. And the reality is you don't want to be, as much as there's an angle of like, okay, so for example, like I'm a lot more savvy in Meta ads than Google ads, for example, but we've got people on the team who are incredible at Google ads. But I know enough about Google ads that if there was like a family emergency or anything like that, I could jump into the accounts and I could run a successful campaign. You don't want to be solely reliant on the person who's obviously, you know, your media buyer, whoever it is who's delivering that service, because if anything does go wrong, you're kind of back to square one and you need to find kind of a replacement, and you want to be able to jump in, basically, is what we're saying. Equally, when it comes down to the sales calls, if you understand service delivery, of course, you can explain things to the client. You can go through a marketing strategy. You can explain why they maybe use Meta ahead of Google. Like, you know, there's going to be differences between the platforms, and certain platforms are better for different industries. And to have that understanding is obviously going to help massively across all avenues.
Yeah. Now, when I started my agency, that was back in 2018, I used to pretty much go into the agency space as just a paid ad specialist. So I'll be reaching out to businesses. I'd say pretty much all I specialize in is Facebook ads, Google ads. We're in 2025 now. I think as an agency owner, you need to be an asset to the business. You need to be a partner. It's not enough nowadays. I had a huge drop off around a year ago, 2 years ago with some clients where they literally said to me, we've gone with another agency. And the sole reason usually was because they were an all-in-one agency. They were able to provide the content creation, they would provide the email marketing, and I wasn't able to do that because I didn't have the team behind me to actually provide that as a service just yet. But now, obviously, Will and I joining forces, our agency, Booster Agency, we pretty much, any business could come to us and we can take care of everything. Doesn't matter if it's the content creation, the email marketing, we can literally take care of the whole lot. And I think nowadays that is definitely something that you need to be mindful of when you're getting into this agency model. You need to be able to build a team. And Will's not saying you've got to go spend a year learning sales delivery before you get into the business model, but it's just having the know-how so that when you jump on a sales call, you don't sound like an idiot. And when you jump on a catch-up call, you sort of know what you're talking about. So it doesn't mean you have to go spend years learning service delivery. It's just having a bit of insight so that you don't look like an idiot when you're speaking to the business owners.
Yeah, no, I think you kind of covered the majority of the stuff there. Like I say, you haven't got to know all of it yourself. Again, that's why we do hire a teams, but you should know enough, as I say, to be able to, at the very, in terms of marketing strategy and stuff like that, it's so important. I think there's such a stigma around, just start an agency, outsource the work from day one, which is like Matty was saying, go and live on a beach in Bali. Like, we live in Bali and we're working most of the time. So yes, we're still very much in the ad accounts. We're still, you're going to be doing a lot of work in regards to that sort of stuff as well. But yeah, you just need to understand it enough to be able to pitch. And of course, come up with the best marketing strategy possible. We're now doing, for one of our clients, going through like a full 2025 marketing calendar. So literally month by month, what kind of key events can we hit on? Obviously, you've got the big ones, Halloween, Valentine's Day, but then what are the other ones that we can hit on which are like outside of a typical sales period? And the reason for that is because other brands won't be advertising, so the ad costs will be that much cheaper. But of course, I'm able to do that because I understand the best time to advertise and the best platforms to push. So for certain ones, we probably will be doing things like, TikTok is going to be really good here when it comes down to things like Pets Day and stuff like that. And we want to hit like a younger audience, for example. And other times Meta is going to be the one to lead with. So yeah, understanding all the platforms does help massively when crafting that strategy.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people watching this, you're probably also curious, how often should I be communicating with my clients? Look, it was I remember being a big stigma in the agency space. A lot of the gurus that I bought courses from, they used to tell me, don't have your clients on WhatsApp, don't do all this, just keep it on email so that, you're not getting pestered all the time. But look, in 2025, let's be real, you need to be there for these clients. If you're going to maintain your clients, you need to be there whenever. Obviously, you set the expectations, but that being said, you shouldn't be able to sort of just leave them on an email for 2 days and kind of get back to them then. You should be on top of it, and that's why a lot of our clients, to be honest, I'm old school. I like to have them on WhatsApp. If I got WhatsApp from my family and friends, I like to also prioritize my clients, and that's kind of how I run the business. Now, communication is important because also when setting expectations, that's how I've been able to maintain clients. Like Will said, you're going to have those high months, and you know that next month's going to be low. It's just setting that expectation so the client understands that, because the problem is there's a lot of e-com brands out there, there's a lot of businesses who have burnt through so many agencies, and it's crazy how some of these agencies just don't set expectations because they jump on the sales calls, they promise the world, and then a month goes by and they don't get anything out of it. That's why most clients we take on, it's building the foundations and just setting that expectation from the beginning, because it's just crazy how many businesses I speak to who say, we worked with so-and-so agency and a month went by and they didn't deliver us anything. It's just like, you got to be realistic, and I think that's really important. I'm sure you would touch on that as well.
Yeah, that's massively important. And on the communication side as well, like, I do think, okay, it's different for the team. The team are going to have certain set hours, but as the agency owner, that's kind of part of the gig, is that you are going to be responding to clients in unsociable hours, and that's just part, kind of, as like I say, of it. Particularly if there's something urgent and things. Again, this is where it helps to understand service delivery. If your team is, say, like we've got a remote team, so they all work different hours. Let's say it's the middle of the night for the person on the ad account. If there's an emergency, somebody's changing, obviously we can jump in and we understand it enough that we can kind of sort that as well. But yeah, we typically try and get back to our clients as quickly as possible. And like Matty said, we've got Slack for a lot of our clients, particularly when we're working with other agencies and stuff as well. And then we've also got WhatsApp, which is where we now have a lot of clients on there as well. But I do think I personally prefer keeping things on WhatsApp and Slack. I think with emails, it's very easy to just get, messaging lost and stuff. At least you've got like a clear kind of thread with things like Slack and WhatsApp as well, so you can just go back through and see exactly what's going on.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. But yeah, to be honest, I don't want this video to be too long, so we're going to wrap it up there. I wanted it to be a quick and easy one. Look, Will and I, we've been in the game long enough. We want to provide as much value as we can. We're literally currently in Sydney, heading over to Melbourne tomorrow. We're meeting actually a client in person, which is going to be fun. And, again, literally our whole video is on maintaining clients. About to go see a client in person. And that's how we obviously maintain clients, because we put the effort and we make that effort. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. As always, please just comment below if there's anything you want us to make a video on, if there's any specific topic. Will and I were literally a few minutes before making this video, what topic we're going to talk about. So all the information's in our head. There's no structure in these videos. We just throw it all out there. And yeah, again, hopefully we can provide you some value. So see you in the next one. Will's going to be in pretty much all these videos now that we're business partners. There's no, you'll see some of me alone, but pretty much it's quite nice doing them together. So hope you enjoyed it and see you in the next one.